From one user betting $50,000 on a single game to another user making $100K in 7 days, these are the maddest sports bets posted to Reddit Part 4. Chadukin7 is a user who just fumbled the bag. On October 5th, he was ready to make some big money, so he made a 3-leg parlay with plus 178,000 odds. If Dallas Goedert scored the first touchdown in his game versus the Broncos, Tyler Warren scored the first touchdown in his game versus the Raiders, and Sam Laporta scored the first touchdown in his game versus the Bengals, he'd be paid out nearly $8,900. The Eagles game started, and
there it is. Pass, caught, touchdown.
Chadukin was 1 for 3 so far. Moving on into the Colts game, let's see if Warren somehow got the first touchdown as well.
Throw complete. So there you go.
Now being 2 for 3, he posted to the subreddit asking everyone if he should cash out. He could play it safe and walk away with $450, or he could risk it for the $8,900. Pretty much everyone commented saying that he'd be dumb to cash out, but honestly, even if he did, $450 off a $5 bonus bet is still pretty nice. Chadukin said he was going to let it ride out, and he got ready for the Lions game. Laporta ran in, did a front flip over Dax Hill, and got a touchdown. Chadukin just made $8,900, or maybe not, because in his next post, someone asked him if he cashed out on his last bet, and he said yes. They asked why he lied in the first post, and he said, "I was sick about it and didn't want to accept what I had done." Fair enough, I guess. Only a few hours after that, he threw $77 on a 5-leg parlay that would pay out $16,000 if it hit. This time he said, "I will not cash out." Early on in the night, he was offered a $300 cash out, but he stayed true to his word and turned it down. But the parlay completely fell apart after that. See, now I didn't cash out when they were offering me $300 and I'm cooked. I hate this. Hopefully things get better for him soon. NK Picks is a user who went on one of the craziest runs ever, turning $100 into $80,000. NK's journey started back on September 28th when he made a 6-leg same-game parlay. Making a same-game parlay with more than 5 legs is usually a pretty good way to throw your money in the garbage. But he was confident enough to throw $100 on the line, which was a decent amount of money for a parlay with boosted plus 10,000 odds. Starting with Romeo Doubs and Jake Ferguson, he needed both of them to score a touchdown that game.
Love looking quick towards Romeo Doubs. Dak looking that way, throwing that way. Ferguson.
Both of them got it done easy breezy. George Pickens got over 60.5 receiving yards.
29, Prescott putting it up for Pickens. Safety coming over. Parsons off the edge. Prescott end zone touchdown.
Tucker Kraft and Jordan Love.
Cowboys bringing 4. Love throwing end zone touchdown.
Both had it down the whole game. And finally, would Micah Parsons get a sack?
Here's Parsons chasing. Dak taking off. Parsons gets it.
NK himself said that this wasn't really a sack, but it didn't matter because it got counted as one and FanDuel just paid him out $10,000. NK was feeling unstoppable after that, so the following day, he made another big same-game parlay. This time, he only added 3 legs, but threw $1,000 on the line. A Courtland Sutton touchdown?
Down and 2, Knicks, end zone, Sutton.
Done. This Broncos spread? Done. And finally, would J.K. Dobbins get at least 70 rushing yards?
He's torn his Achilles. He's also got a first down here.
Absolutely. All 3 legs hit, and NK got paid out another $6,200. He decided to keep his hot streak going and made another $1,000 parlay the very next night. A 4-leg same-game parlay with plus 1,200 odds, he needed the Dodgers to win by at least 2 runs, Tommy Edman to record an RBI, Blake Snell to get at least 8 strikeouts, and finally for the Dodgers to win by at least 5 runs. First pitch of the game, Snell already got a strikeout, so things were off to a nice start. The Reds didn't score any runs that inning, but when Ohtani stepped up to the plate in the bottom of the first, this happened.
To kick things off. Swing and a line drive, rip, right field, back off!
Tommy Edman was at bat, but he wouldn't get the job done just yet. The game went on and Snell kept on striking players out. Tommy Edman was back at bat, so let's see if he redeems himself.
Here's Tommy Edman. Edman drives one towards the corner, and it's gone!
As long as the Dodgers kept it going and Blake Snell got just a few more strikeouts, NK would get a $13,000 payout. Snell did indeed keep striking people out, and the Dodgers ended up winning the game by 5 runs, so NK's parlay hit. The following day, he kept his betting streak going, making 2 different 4-leg parlays, and somehow both parlays hit, making him another $6,800. He was starting to forget what it felt like to lose money, so the next day, he made his biggest bet yet bet and threw nearly $7,000 into a 5-leg same-game parlay. If Kyren Williams scored a touchdown, Puka Nacua got at least 8 receptions, the Rams scored at least 23 points, Matthew Stafford got at least 200 passing yards, and finally, Puka Nacua also scored a touchdown, he would get a $36,000 payout that night. In the second quarter, Williams checked off the first leg of the parlay. Not too long after that, Nacua also got his touchdown and 10 receptions. Stafford not only got 200 passing yards, but nearly doubled that with 389. And it was very, very close, but the Rams also got the over on points scored for the night. NK's parlay hit and he was paid out just over $36,000. He made about $70,000 over the past 5 days, but instead of quitting while he was ahead, he decided to keep the gravy train going and picked up another 4-leg same-game parlay the next night. If the Dodgers won the game, Teoscar Hernandez recorded an RBI, the Dodgers got at least 5 runs, and finally Christopher Sanchez got at least 5 strikeouts, NK would get paid out another $9,400 for the night. Christopher Sanchez started off the game by striking Ohtani out. Hernandez was at bat, but instead of getting a run, he got struck out as well, which was still technically good for the parlay. Things started to look a little rocky for the Dodgers though, cause the Phillies were up 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Hernandez was back at bat, but he got struck out by Sanchez once again. So far, Sanchez's 5 strikeouts were the only leg on the parlay that was looking promising. Top of the 6th, Hernandez was back, but got struck out again. Only 4 innings left, and he needed to get an RBI, and the Dodgers needed to win with at least 5 runs. Top of the 7th, Hernandez was back at bat.
Teoscar Hernandez. It has been a tough night for Teo. Swing, the pitch. Hit high in the air, right center field. Bader on the run, on the warning track. He's at the wall.
With the 3-run home run, he obviously not only got an RBI, but also put the Dodgers in the lead and got them 5 runs. So NK's parlay was suddenly looking pretty likely to hit. No more runs were scored for the rest of the game, so thanks to Hernandez's super clutch hit, this was yet another winning parlay. After that, he won $1,800 on a light 2-leg parlay, and the day after that, he made another massive parlay. It only had 2 legs, but if Garrett Wilson and Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt both scored touchdowns in their games that night, NK would get another $18,000 payout. The Jets game started, and quite honestly, they were getting destroyed. They were losing 23-3 by halftime, and worse than that, Wilson, of course, did not score a touchdown yet. With 2 minutes of game time left, he still hadn't scored a touchdown, but this was his next play.
Mezuraku got it away for Wilson, 1 dodge and touchdown.
Wilson was so insanely close to not getting a touchdown, but he got it done. The Commanders game started, and in the second quarter, this happened.
Here's the handoff here. Croskett-Merritt has a wall. He is in. Touchdown.
This was somehow another winning parlay. He posted to the subreddit with, "I turned $100 into $100,000 in 7 days." In the comments, he said that he had about $20,000 of losing bets during this time that he didn't post, but I mean, $100 to $80K is still beyond insane. The next user placed a ginormous straight bet on Shohei Ohtani's downfall. Game 4 of the World Series, things were very tense. But for some reason, Durrett was confident that the Blue Jays would win that game. So confident, in fact, that he wagered $50,000 on it. Most people would say that that's a dangerous bet, but he didn't care. Ohtani wasn't playing the greatest though, and by the bottom of the third, the Blue Jays were winning 2-1. The Dodgers were never able to turn things around and lost the game 2-6. Durrett's $50,000 bet paid out $150,000, and he said, obviously not enough sleep for my king Shohei. He actually placed this trade on Kalshi, which is the first legal platform in the US where people can trade on events in all 50 states. Being a longtime sponsor of the channel, you can trade on real-world events, including sports, and even use the platform to hedge the positions you have in your stock portfolio. You can trade on things like whether the Broncos are going to beat the Raiders, what the announcers are going to say in the Cardinals versus Cowboys game, and if you're really going for a wild card, on who's going to win the next presidential election. Kalshi gives you an interactive chart that lets you see how the odds of a given event event have changed over time, which is honestly kinda just cool to see even if you're not gonna place a trade on it. And if you weren't already aware, even Robinhood and a lot of other brokerages have partnered with Kalshi. Any cash or positions you have on the platform will earn an additional variable APY. This means you can double dip on picking a winning trade and get an extra 4% a year. That's like buying a stock on Robinhood and then also getting an additional 4% a year on your portfolio value. Each trade tab has a public thread on it where you can choose to share your thoughts and positions. You can look at the leaderboard tab and see monsters like Lost Zemblin, Domer, and Revel, two of which have made over $1 million on the platform. The site works great on desktop, but they also have a fantastic mobile app. Signing up only takes like 2 minutes. Here's the chart showing public sentiment on who's going to win the Super Bowl this season, and as you can see, it updates all day long. I placed a pretty big bet on the Dodgers winning Game 3 of the World Series on Kalshi, and I was ready to make some quick and easy money. And it definitely wasn't quick, but I did get my $825 payout. If you sign up using the link down below in the description, you'll get a free $10 credit after placing your first trade. So why not sign up and see what you can do with your bonus? It's All Matt is a user who finally got a big win after losing all his bets. On May 21st of 2024, he made a 10-leg parlay and threw $200 on it, which was actually a lot of money to risk for a parlay with plus 41,000 odds, but it didn't matter because Matt was confident that it was gonna hit. Was Drew Holiday gonna score 10 points? I don't know.
Holiday so strong, gets inside and
He easily got the over with 28 points that night. The Celtics also had a super clutch game with Jaylen Brown hitting a last-second three.
throw it in the corner. Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Bang! Jaylen Brown knocks down the three to tie the game.
This was super lucky for his parlay because obviously it meant everyone had more time to score points. For the same game, Matt had the over on points scored for 6 different players on the Pacers. TJ McConnell, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, and Tyrese Halliburton all got their overs. Jaylen Brown also got over 20 points that game, so all Matt needed now was for Peyton Pritchard to get over 10 points. This unfortunately didn't happen in overtime though, and Matt kissed his $83,000 payout goodbye. Losing a huge payout from one leg being off is tough, but for some reason, Matt also had another 7-leg parlay running on the same game that he was also in for another $200. This was another losing bet, so Matt lost $400 total that night. But Matt had one last parlay for the night, once again on the same game, that looked a bit more promising than the last two. 13 out of 14 legs were right, and Jaylen Brown just hit a 3, so they were going into overtime. If Derek White just scored 2 more points in overtime, Matt would get $103,000. With 49 seconds left in the game, White ran into the paint and...
White continues down a lane.
Oh, never mind. But thankfully, Holiday passed him the ball again with 27 seconds left in the game, and he finally got it done.
Backcourt quickly gets to the Holiday. Holiday back to White, and he lays it up.
Matt's $200 wager just turned into a $103,000 payout. The very next day, he threw another $600 into 3 different humongous parlays. Before he even let these play out, he also threw an additional $500 into a live parlay. None of these hit, so Matt lost $1,100 that night. Matt was either already super rich, or he was just feeling good after that huge payout because he started making these parlays every day. The next day, he threw $550 on 2 parlays and it felt like that wasn't enough. So then, he combined those 2 parlays to make a third one for $300. And I can't even make this up. Already $850 deep for the night, he felt like he needed to wager more, so he made 2 additional live parlays for another $800. None of these hit, so he lost another $1,650 and said, well, Turner, Tyrese, and Tatum had some issues tonight. Brushing it off and trying again tomorrow. Sorry, guys. The next day, he took it easy and just threw $500 on one 19-leg parlay for the night. He had to go on an unexpected break from betting after traveling to Florida for family, but he got right back to business after that. He threw $100 on a WNBA parlay with plus 240,000 odds, and only 2 days later, he threw another $800 into 3 different parlays. Once again, he felt like he wasn't doing enough once the games got rolling, so he threw another $500 into 2 live parlays. Absolutely none of these parlays hit, so he was down another $1,300 for the night. He lost $100 a day later on a 5-leg MLB parlay, $200 the day after that on another MLB parlay, and $500 on the NBA Finals a couple days later. And honestly, if I talked about all the parlays he posted, it would take me all day. I mean, you can see how many there are just by me scrolling through the past year of his posts. Considering he regularly throws hundreds of dollars on parlays with plus 100,000 odds, I'm not quite sure if he's a profitable sports bettor. SureChart3903 is a user who used to post to Wall Street bets, but completely ditched it for sports betting instead. On May 26th, he made 2 different straight bets, which is actually a breath of fresh air from all the 50-leg parlays we've been seeing. These straights were still pretty risky though, because he needed either Tyrese Halliburton or Draymond Green to score the first point in either one of their games. With plus 1,600 and 1,400 odds respectively, he'd make $1,100 that night if both of them somehow hit. 12 seconds into the Pacers game, Tyrese had the ball and he easily laid it up. That was almost too easy, but whatever. SureChart just won $595. Not that he had any more bets riding on that game, but Tyrese definitely balled out, hitting a contested game-winning 3. 15 seconds into the Warriors game, Draymond took it into the paint and also put it up. Both of SureChart's parlays hit, paying him out just over $1,100. A day after that, he made the same 2 straight bets, except he swapped out Tyrese and Draymond for Jokic and Bridges. None of these hit though, so he lost $70 that night. A week after that, he got ready for the Rays vs Blue Jays game by betting that both Josh Lowe and Brandon Lau would each get a home run. If they both pulled through, SureChart would make over $500. Josh Lowe was at bat, and he didn't quite get a home run, but it was okay because literally the whole game was still ahead of him. Brandon Lau was at bat next, and
Wow, swinging a high fly ball to fairly deep right. Does it have enough carry to the wall?
Things were already going his way fairly early on in the game, so as long as Josh got a home run over the rest of the game, his parlay would hit. Top of the 5th inning, Josh Lowe was at bat, and
If that's hit well to straightaway center field, Josh Lowe has returned to the Rays.
SureChart's $15 wager turned into just over $500. He said brotherly love, but found out in the comments that they are not related. Regardless, he was so glad that the bet paid out that he actually ran it back again the following week. Bottom of the 5th, Josh Lowe was at bat, and
Swinging a high fly ball to right center field. Does it have enough carry? Myers to the wall. Gone!
next up at bat was Brandon Lau actually, and
now Brandon Lau into the air, and that's heading back, and it's still going back.
SureChart's parlay just hit once again, and this time he walked away with a $600 payout. The same day, he posted another 4-leg parlay that won $200. A few days later though, it seems like he wasn't so happy. He went on a cold streak for 2.5 months, but came back with his biggest bet yet on August 9th. It was the preseason, and SureChart bet that the Rams would get to 25 points before the Cowboys, the Steelers would get to 25 before the Jaguars, and the Bucks would get to 25 before the Titans. First game of the night, and the Rams were off to a good start, with Blake Corum getting the first touchdown. Later that game, Rivaldo Fairweather sealed the deal. The Steelers game was a whole lot closer than the last, but luckily Keyshawn Williams still got it done. The Bucks game was winding down, and it was looking like neither team was going to score 25 points, but the ball suddenly got intercepted, and SureChart didn't check Bet365 till the following morning, but when he did, he saw that he got a $2,400 payout. A few days of losing bets, and 1 day of calling CJ Abrams a turd later, he bet that Jade Melbourne would be the first to score a point in her game that night. Jade ran into the paint and laid it right up. SureChart just got paid another $735. A few days after that, he hit a $640 bet on Christian Yelich, another $420 on Jade 2 days after that, and another $1,400 a few days after that. SureChart kept on betting pretty consistently, but jumping all the way ahead to October 26th, he was watching the Steelers game and had money on Roman Wilson getting a touchdown that game. Except he wasn't even really playing that game. SureChart took a huge $5 cash out, but as soon as he did that, Roman Wilson got in the game and scored a touchdown. His bet would have paid out $400 if he held it for just a bit longer. On October 27th, he would make $400 if Jake LaRavia was the first one to score that game. Start of the game, he put up a 3, but it did not go in. 20 seconds of game time later, he got the ball again and went up for a layup, but it got blocked. I guess it just wasn't meant to be. On October 30th, The Bucks were playing the Warriors, and SureChart felt like Ryan Rollins was about to pop off that night. His $70 wager would turn into a $740 payout if he scored at least 30. Rollins was off to an amazing start, getting 9 of the first 14 points for the Bucks. But SureChart was already cashed out of his bet for a $16 loss. And funnily enough, Ryan Rollins went on to score a career-high game, and his 2 straight bets would have hit if he held. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment who had the craziest bet.